poor and hungry too. The woman closed the door. The traveler, although he was tired and hungry, was not ready to give up. He picked up a large round stone from the ground and knocked once more at the door. The lady came to the door again, opening it only halfway. "Yes?" she asked. "Since you are poor like me, perhaps you would like to have some of my stone soup." "Stone soup?" the woman laughed as she looked at the stone in his hand. "You can't make soup from a stone." "I've done it before," replied the traveler. The woman had never seen anyone make soup from a stone before, but since she was hungry too, she invited him in. Then she lit the fire and placed a kettle of water on top and opened the windows to let out some heat. The traveler placed the stone inside the water until it boiled. He sipped a spoonful of hot liquid. "It's almost done," he said, "but if you had just a little salt and butter, the soup would taste so much better." The woman went to the cupboard and returned with salt and butter. Just as the traveler was pouring them in the pot, the woman's husband returned home. In his hands were carrots and potatoes. "What are you making?" asked the woman's husband. "Stone soup," replied the woman. And the traveler, "Impossible," shouted the husband. "It's almost finished," the traveler assured the husband as he tasted another spoonful. "But it would be even nicer if we added some carrots and potatoes." Also hungry, the husband agreed and dropped the carrots and potatoes in the pot.
"What are you making?"
Soon the smell of soup drifted out of her house windows and down the lane. One neighbor, who usually stayed inside, wandered out and followed the smell all the way to the first house, where he heard them talking about stone soup. "Is the stone soup ready now?" the woman and her husband asked the traveler. "Yes, it could be even better if we had some turnips and beans," he replied. "I have some," yelled the neighbor who was watching from the window. "Is the stone soup ready now?" The woman and her husband asked the traveler. "Yes, but it could even better if it had some turnips and beans." "Oh, I said that." The neighbor, curious to taste the soup that was made from the stone, returned with turnips and beans. He poured them into the pot, and the smell drifted even further down the lane. The word about a stranger traveler making soup out of single stone drew many villagers out of their homes. They followed the delicious smell. "Is the stone soup ready now?" asked the villagers when they arrived. The neighbor, curious to taste "Yes, but I remember having stone soup with chicken broth and in the stew once," he replied. "I have chicken," said the father, and ran home to get some. "I have broth," explained another neighbor, who ran to fetch it. The farmer returned and placed pieces of chicken in the pot. When the other neighbors added the broth, the pot was so full that it almost spilled over. The traveler lifted the spoon to taste it. "Perfect," he explained. Then he served a bowl of stone soup to every single one of the villagers to taste. "It's magic," the villagers called out. "See how much soup he had made? Delicious," cried another villager. "But where can we get a magic stone? Surely this one has been all used up." The traveler shook his head and pulled the stone out of the pot. The stone was still whole. The villagers realized that the delicious and plentiful soup did not come from the stone. The traveler drank the leftover soup and went on his journey. At last, from that day on, the villagers shared what they had with each other, and the village became a happy place. I think Debbie's message for us in requesting stone soup is the moral of this story, is about the value of sharing and working together. As we move forward with our church, we once again will be relying on that value. At last, from that day on, so the sign-up sheet is for vegetables, and we're going to make stone soup. If somebody has a special stone they would like to add to that soup, please bring it, and we will put it in the soup. Just sign up, and we're going to make the soup together. So, and I think we're going to do it. We'll let you know how that's going to happen later after we discuss it with our expert Dana, and see if we can get that accomplished. The other idea that we kind of presented was to everybody who would like bring one of your old backpacks and put just a white elephant significant gift in it, and to present to, or it can be a gift of whatever you want to gift. We're going to also be taking, and then we're going to present that. You can have your backpack back. We're not giving backpacks, but just the little gift inside that we can, as a part of our farewell, we can gift her those things, and they can be fun and funny. Then we're going to have take up a financial collection for her, and if you would like to donate to that, just leave an envelope in my box, my mailbox, and we will get that to the ad team is going to be presenting that gift. And hopefully making this, like I said, Debbie has had a lot of input in her own farewell party, and I think this is more for us than it is for her. And I think that's the way that she wants it. So make sure you sign up on those 2 sign-up sheets. Yes, Carrie. Hopefully making this, like I said, Debbie has had a lot of input in her own farewell party, and I think this is more for us than it is for her. Yes, that you could add it. That's good. Yes, a card, a note, something that a memory that you had that can go in. That can be your gift in the backpack, along with your gift too. So just make that fun and memorable. In Sunday school today, we're going to be reflecting again on church transition. We will be discussing the question, where are we going? So please try to join us for this very important conversation. All right, now we are hopefully watching a video. Oh, yes, Don has an announcement.
Are we on? Okay. Well, thank you for, Mark and Catherine are working very hard at this, so thank you so very much for helping. Hopefully we'll get it figured out. You've heard me talk for a couple months now about needing help for a district conference, and that time is drawing near. So today in the fellowship hall, I will have a tablet, and I know several of you have offered to help with, there's 2 items. Parking on Friday night, Friday, September 15th. That will begin probably around 6:30, I would guess. Let me think about that a minute. Well, anyway, I can get those final details to everybody once you've signed up. So I need 6 volunteers for Friday night, the 15th, and then on Saturday, the 16th, the same number of parking volunteers for the morning. And that begins at 8 o'clock, so to be at Camp Mac around, quarter till 8 or somewhere around there to help with parking on the 16th. And then if you can stay, we need 6 ushers also to literally do usher work for the offering, as well as if we take votes and those kinds of issues. So, and I should have said that for Friday night too. We will have an offering Friday night, so we'll need the parking attendants to stay, please, and help with the offering as well. So I have my handy-dandy little tablet with me, and please come see me, and I'll hunt you down as well, and so we can get that list completed and move on for our district conference. Again, the 15th and 16th down at Camp Mac.
I wasn't able to be here last week, but this week I did bring the dough to make the dog biscuits, and so please, during fellowship time, come and help. I've got everything pre-mixed. It's a matter of rolling it out and using the cookie cutters and getting them in the oven. So I need your help if you're willing. Thank you.
Was it the scripture reading you wanted first, or the wrap-up video? The scripture reading.
So let's just go ahead and do the, oh, okay, all right, great.
This was the annual conference theme song.
We are living God's love. We are living God's love. We are living. We are living. We are living God's love. Viviendo el amor de Dios, viviendo, viviendo el amor de Dios. Rayuan counter Allah, Rayuan counter
Well, that was cool. All right, please stand with me, and we will be doing the call to worship. It's based on Ephesians 5, 1 through 2, and 1 John 3, 11, 16, chapter 4, 7 verses 7 to 8, chapter 11 through 12, 19 through 21. Brothers and sisters, we are called to be imitators of God as beloved children and live in love as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us. This is the message we have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. Because Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for one another. We are called to love one another because love is from God. Everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, for God is love. And since God loved us so much, we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God. If we love one another, God lives in us, and God's love is perfected in us. We love because God first loved us. Those who say, "I love God," and hate their brothers and sisters are liars. For those who do not love a brother or sister whom they have seen cannot love God, whom they have not seen. The commandment we have is this: those who love God must love their brothers and sisters also. And so, knowing God's love, loving one another, and called to share that love with all, we gather this morning in worship. You may be seated. Thank you, that was beautiful. Okay, now we are going to do our joys and concerns. So if you have remember to keep Jill, as she continues to care for her father who had a stroke. He came home Tuesday, and he's beginning physical therapy. It doesn't sound like there was mental impairment, just physical impairment. Prayers continue for Bernard, whose surgery for cancer this week went very well. He's expected recover is 4 to 6 weeks. And continue prayers for June as she cares for him. And then we're going to continue our prayers for Don as he prepares for district conference and keep our person in our prayers as he goes with that. Are there other joys and concerns that we have?
Morning, I'm Sherry Bickle. I'm just asking for prayer for Logan this week as he transitions to college. So we move him on Tuesday to Grand Valley in Michigan, and then he has a few days before classes start. The classes don't start until the following Monday. So that's coming up. And just an update on Ethan. He is still down in Texas, living in Texas. He's got a roommate. And he has changed jobs several times. Right now he's currently working in a warehouse that makes parts for the oil business. So it's kind of the equivalent of working in an RV factory in Elkhart. And he's just put in for a promotion, and he's really excited about it. Instead of doing an interview with him, they've kind of just placed him in that position starting next week. So it's going to be a see how he does thing. And he called last night and said, "Mom, you'd be so proud of me. I went and got new clothes, so I look presentable at work, and I got a new broom for my apartment, so my apartment looks presentable too." And then Mark is not here today because he had toe surgery on Thursday, had his big toe removed, and then he came home and he wasn't feeling it. He's got a really bad cough now, so that's where he's at today.
Hello, this is Mark in the loft. This morning online, Jill Weaver's with us, Bernard and June are with us. We've got 7 watching. Those are the only 2 who I know who they are. And so also want to reach out to you folks that are online this morning. You're not seeing any video, and that's just our regular video broadcast operators called off. They had a problem come up they had to deal with, and I've never run this broadcast system, and Catherine never has, so this girl is up here learning on the fly. Unfortunately, we cannot get video linked up at the moment, and that's where we're at, and good morning.
I have one comment, and that is how beautiful the flowers are on the Worship Center. My thanks to Sherry Bickle and to Sheila. There's nothing like flowers from the garden to brighten your spirit. Last night, Maxine Harvey called and said she asked for prayer. She has ear infection in both ears, and she's gone to the doctor for it, but it hasn't helped yet, and she's in severe pain. And so if you'll lift up Maxine, maybe even send her a card this week, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
A little bit about the Monday night of next week. I was at a spot on our site yesterday that I have never taken time to stop and look. And what we've accomplished on these acreage is just fantastic. Building, landscape, you name it. And there's a lot of stories hidden there. I'll share some of those a week from tomorrow, where they occurred and the outcome and so forth. I want you to come with all the questions you want to ask. It'll be your guidance at that point. I'll try to explain the best I can. but there's a lot of reasons as we stop and think to say thank you, and a lot of points of encouragement that we need to address if we want to keep moving forward as strongly as we have. So I just want to encourage you to come at 6. We'll be trying to keep it to an hour, hour and a half at most. Depends on your questions, but if you're interested in that activity or seeing or explaining how it all has occurred from my perspective, come and show up. We'll have a great time talking.
Dallas back here. I want to thank you for your prayers, and as Wayne and I traveled to Missouri, we had it's always hard to say goodbye, and yet it's kind of a wonderful thing to be able to do that, and we enjoyed being with family that we don't see very often, so we really enjoyed that time and were able to say goodbye in a good way. We had a rough trip home, and won't go that route again. You don't want to go through Chicago when there's a White Sox and Cubs game. And so that was kind of a nightmare trip home, but we made it, we were safe, and glad for the prayers. The other thing, I see in the bulletin that the bulletin says that we were going to do the dog treats next week, but Debbie and I had talked about this week, and I guess I'm kind of behind. I didn't know. So, you know, I know there's a lot going on today, but if you can help, and whatever we get done, and I'll take care of the rest. We won't have to worry about it, and we'll be back next week with more dog treat-o.
Gary here. It's nice to be back. It's been a long time. And first of all, and most importantly, I would like to thank everybody for all your concerns, the wonderful cards, the wonderful encouragement that I have received through all this time. It's really, really helped. I just know how much I'm loved.